What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our SEC football channel.
Kevin, let's talk about those wide receivers. You talked about Lynn Bowden, and he had a very consistent year, not necessarily dynamic plays consistently downfield at 11 yards per catch, but he is obviously the number one guy. Who else is going to complement him? And can you kind of talk about what you alluded to in our quarterback video in regards to his continued development and chemistry with Terry Wilson?
Well, as you said, the offense, the wide receiver game starts with Bowden. I think he has. I read somewhere, I believe he was picked second team All SEC by one of the preseason magazines. I think he's at least second team All SEC. I think if he has another year like he did last year, he could be, first team. The offense, the passing game is going to be anchored around him. His ability to get open. If for those that remember the Citrus Bowl last year, just the incredible game that he had there, had the punt return, and then all of that. He's definitely going to be the guy to watch. The question is going to be who's the second guy, and right now they're looking at a couple guys, Josh Ali, who's junior, and Isaiah Epps. Both those guys are juniors. Those are probably, at least heading out of spring practice, those are the two guys that look more likely that they're going to be the next, the three guys, the two guys to go along with Bowden, and a couple other guys is a redshirt freshman, Bryce Oliver, then Cleavon Thomas. And then another guy to watch out for is Ahmad Wagner. He played a little bit last year. He's a former Iowa basketball player. He played football in high school. He's, huge guy, 6'5", 6'6". And, a couple of times last year, he never caught a ball in an actual game, but I think he got 2 or 3 pass interference calls because they just threw, you just back up, throw the ball, and he would just, he's so tall, he would go up and try to get it, and the receivers, the defenders would interfere with him. And, that was like in the Missouri game, I believe, was one that helped move the ball down the field on that incredible drive that they had to win that game. He's another guy that a name that you're going to hear a lot this year. But like I said, Josh Ali and Isaiah Epps, at least heading out as, coming out of spring practice, are going to be the two, more than likely the two starting receivers to go along with Bowden. And at least getting one of those guys to develop some consistency is going to be huge, because Terry Wilson's going to need another target, because Bowden is probably going to be double teamed, probably double teamed. And, obviously he's going to have the opposing team's best defender in the secondary on him. So that's going to be one of the things I'm going to be watching out for, especially early in the season, if Wilson can develop some timing with another receiver.
I saw the name Dorian Baker, and it brought to mind his productivity from a few years ago. Now he's gone, but he caught 56 passes a few years ago and then kind of disappeared. I don't know if injuries had anything to do with that.
Yeah, he broke he broke a bone in his leg, I believe it was, and then missed 2 years ago. And then, like I said, he we played some last year, but I don't think he was ever the same after his injury that he had. So. But yeah, and like I said, then we'll go from there. Then you have the running backs, coming out of the backfield. Benny Snell wasn't the biggest guy catching passes out of the backfield, but they did need him for that. But like I said, those guys are going to be the people I'm going to be watching out for. Those three names probably. Like I said, Wagner is definitely a guy, especially around the goal line, would be a guy that you definitely want to keep your eye on, because of his height, you just as I said, throw it up, boom, touchdown. I think that's what they're hoping for anyway.
Okay, we'll be looking out for him, and there's nothing wrong with getting a pass interference call or two to keep a drive alive and maybe win a game on the road against a key SEC Eastern Division foe, as happened last year.
Right.
Josh Ali, as you mentioned, 10 catches last year and a touchdown, and Isaiah Epps with 8 receptions. It shouldn't be alarming to college football fans. If you follow these teams, you know that it happens all the time. Guys move on. Guys that only had 5 or 10 catches or maybe nothing the year before step up and turn out to be the next guy that's able to be a number 2 receiver in this case. Obviously, Kentucky's going to need to complement Lynn Bowden with 2 or 3 guys in those wide receiver sets of 3 and 4.
Thank you for watching this video. If you're an SEC football fan, please subscribe to the channel. Leave us your thoughts down in the comments below. And for the latest in SEC football, keep it right here.